Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to MuleSoft training offered by Geeks. In this video, we'll see how to schedule a Mule application. Okay, so we'll discuss what scheduling options are available in detail. Okay, so let's create a Mule application first, and let's drop in a scheduler element onto the canvas, and let's try to see what type of options are available. Okay, let's go to AnyPoint Studio, create a new Mule project. Let's call it a schedule Mule application. Wait for the application to get created. And once this application gets created, you will see a flow with the same name getting created as well. Okay, so it's a schedule Mule application. And let's try to drag and drop a scheduler component. So under core elements or core components, you see that there is a scheduler option available. So drag and drop that scheduler option onto the canvas. And this scheduler option can be used to typically schedule the Mule application flows or the Mule flows to run on a periodic basis. Okay, so in real time, you will have many use cases wherein you have to trigger the flows based on a schedule. So it could be based on a fixed frequency schedule, or it could be a completely dynamic schedule. But whatever it might be, you might have many use cases wherein you have to trigger the flows with the help of a scheduler. And the scheduler that's available in MuleSoft gives you a few options. Let's discuss them. So yes, you have to decide on a scheduling strategy first, and you have two options here: fixed frequency or acron. You can schedule a flow to get triggered based on a fixed frequency, such as you trigger the flow every day, every hour, or every millisecond, or every minute or a second. And you can also put in a start delay. Means if you want to wait for a certain period of time after the application is activated before the first request gets fired off, you can add in a start delay. This fixed frequency scheduling might be sufficient for some scheduling use cases, but for some of the use cases, this might not be sufficient. Say, for example, I want to trigger a flow only on maybe Saturday and Sunday, and that too only in the first week of every month. Okay, so in case you have a scheduling requirement like that, you will not be able to achieve it with fixed frequency. This will be sufficient in case you have to trigger a flow every 10 seconds or every minute. So for normal or basic scheduling use cases, you can use a fixed frequency. But in case your scheduling requirement is quite complex, which you're not able to achieve with fixed frequency. Okay, before we move on to that, so if you want to trigger this flow to run every 2 seconds, how do you do it? You select fixed frequency, change this to minutes, and change this frequency to 2 minutes. And you can put in a start delay. Say, for example, start triggering the flow or start the schedule after 20 seconds after the application is activated. I want to have a start delay of 20 seconds. Okay, and trigger this flow every 2 seconds. Okay, and to see if the flow is actually getting triggered or not, let's just drop in a logger component and add in a message. And I'll just say that this log message gets printed every 2 seconds. Okay, and let's just activate the application or run the application. It'll prompt you to save it. You just click on yes. Okay, so it's deploying the application at the moment. Once this application comes up or gets deployed and is in activated state, it will wait for 20 seconds because we've put in that start delay. And after 20 seconds, it keeps triggering this flow every 2 seconds. Okay, and every 2 seconds, you should see the message that you have put in logger getting printed here in the console. Okay, so this is just to display that yes, the flow is actually getting triggered every 2 seconds. Okay, let's wait for the application to come up. So the application has come up, and after the application has come up, you will see your first log message after 20 seconds because we've put in that start delay. And from there on, you will see the flow getting triggered every two seconds, and you should see the logger message getting printed. Okay, so you see that after 20 seconds, you have the logger message getting printed now. You have the log messages, and if you look at the message, it says this log message is getting printed every 2 seconds. And if you look at the timestamp, this message is printed at 52, 54, 56, 58, and it moved on to the next minute. So this way you can trigger a Mule application flows to run on a fixed frequency basis. Okay, so you can trigger it to run based on so maybe every 2 seconds or every minute or every hour, depending on the scheduling requirement. Okay, let me stop this application now. Okay, let me clear this. But let's say you have got a complex scheduling requirement wherein the basic fixed frequency options that you have are not sufficient. In such case, you can write a cron expression. And let me take a help from one of the MuleSoft URL to explain what a cron expression is and how you can write different possible cron expressions. So if you look at a scheduler available in OIC, it gives you the basic options as you see here. But in OIC, you have an option to write in iCalendar expression if you want to take care of advanced scheduling options. But in MuleSoft, it works in a slightly different way. You will not write iCalendar expression here. Instead, you will write a cron expression, or you need to write a cron expression. So to explain that what the cron expression is and how you can write it, you can visit this URL to know more about how you can write the cron expressions and a scheduler concept as well. So I have that open here. And first of all, why do you need to trigger flows on a schedule with the help of a scheduler in real time? You might have many use cases like this, wherein you might have to load file into a target system or a destination on a periodic basis. Like you might have a file getting placed in an SFTP, which will have a contacts information that might need into a Microsoft Dynamics CRM system on a periodic basis. In such case, you will design a flow in MuleSoft, and with the help of scheduler, you will schedule it to do that periodic load of the files into destination systems, like loading leads into Salesforce, or loading contacts into a CRM system, etc. And you've got two options when it comes to scheduling: fixed frequency. Again, three options there. You have to select the time unit, whether it is seconds, minutes, or hours. Frequency and the start delay. Start delay, if you want application to wait for a certain amount of time before it fires off a first request, you can put in that start delay here. Okay. And another way of writing advanced scheduling expression is by using a cron. Okay, so cron is a widely used standard, and the cron expression has got these components. It has got 7 components. The seventh one is an optional one. It is not required, but you need to have six parts in it, or you have 6 parts in a cron expression. The first one is seconds, second one is minutes, third one is hours, fourth one is a day, fifth one is a month, and sixth one is a day of the week. And depending on what value you want to pass in, so in the brackets, you could also see the possible values that you can pass. And here you could see some sample expressions. So if you look at the first expression, it is, and to understand the first expression, you should also know what these symbols mean. In a cron expression, a star indicates all values or any possible value. Question mark indicates no specific value. And you can mention a range using hyphen. And if you put a comma, it will take it as an additional value. And if you put a slash, it takes it as an incremental value. So say, for example, here in this expression, for seconds, it is mentioned as 1/2. And what does slash symbol mean? It means it increments it. So if you say 1/2, that means it considers it as an incremental value. So a flow gets triggered every 2 seconds. And since we didn't mention anything in specific for the rest of the elements, the flow gets triggered every 2 seconds, every day, it gets triggered, okay, because we didn't put in any restrictions. But if you look at the second one, it says a 0 for the seconds, 15 minutes, 10 hours, and question mark, yeah, no specific value. So what this will indicate, or what if you use this expression, how will the flow schedule, or when will the flow get triggered? It gets triggered at 10:15 a.m. every day. Okay, so if you look at this expression, this gets triggered at 10:15 a.m., but it will get triggered at 10:15 a.m. throughout a 2019 year. Okay, so at the end, you can pass in a seventh argument or seventh part, which is an year, which is a purely optional one. So you can look at this to understand or to learn more about how to write a cron expression. And to show you how it works, I'll copy the first expression, and we've changed this to cron, and we paste in that expression there, and we will change this 2 to 5. Okay, and so if with what will this cron expression do? This will trigger the flow every 5 seconds. And you go to the logger component, and we just change the log message to 5 seconds, and let's trigger the flow. Let's run the application and wait for the application to come up. And once it comes up, you should see the flow getting triggered every 5 seconds. And we have achieved it with the help of a cron expression. So if it's a simpler use case like this, you could probably achieve it with a fixed scheduling as well. But if you want to do something like this, you will not be able to do it with the help of fixed scheduling. Or say, for example, this, if you want to run it on a specific day at a specific time, you might probably not be able to achieve it with a fixed scheduling strategy. Okay, let's wait for the application to come up. The application is deployed, and you should see the application. You should see the log messages getting printed every 5 seconds, 46, 51, and you should see the next one getting printed at 56. And if you scroll to the right, you see the log message. So this log message is getting printed every 5 seconds. Okay, so these are the scheduling options available in MuleSoft. So whenever you have to trigger a Mule flow based on a schedule, you use a scheduler component, and you can use there are basically two scheduling strategies available: fixed frequency and cron. Fixed frequency will be sufficient for simpler use cases, but a cron expression might be required in case you have a complex scheduling requirement. And to know more about how to write a cron expression, you can go to this URL. In the next video, we'll see how to use a MySQL connector. We'll start getting into the connectors now. And the first one we pick up is a MySQL connector. And we'll see how to use a MySQL connector to read a data from a MySQL database. Okay, see you in the next one. Thank you for watching this video, guys. In case you're interested in MuleSoft training offered by Geeks, please call us on this number or send a WhatsApp message, or you can email us at info@geeks.com. Thank you.